welcome to the I Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Dowston, and we are here for our weekly I Ching overview for the week commencing the 20th of November, 2023. As we think about last week, we had all those chickens, all those eggs hatching at the same time. We had a changing line saying the horse and wagon part. Oh dear, what do we do? Something has come unstuck, some issues, some challenges, and all these things popping out and sprouting, and all these issues bursting forth for our attention, all at the same part of this new energy beginning, starting up, bringing with it the challenges, because we are learning while we are doing. We are building the ship while we are sailing. And we had Hexagram 60, limitation. Remember that dam? It's got the water pumping into it and can overflow and could have caused some issues if we were not paying attention to putting in place controls on the flow, looking at how we can break things up into pieces and get organized and understand where the controls are missing. Perhaps the lack of controls, right? The lack of measures to manage that dam water flowing out caused us even more difficulties. Well, all I can describe last week was, not Macaulay Culkin, this is the painting scream, because there were just chickens and eggs. There were challenges. It was not a pleasant experience. Lots and lots of things, lots of problems, lots of horses and wagons parting all over the week for people around me as well. So for you, I hope you got through that. I hope you remembered. These are challenges that come from our learning cycle, and we have to just work our way through them and focus on the foundation. So if anything came up for you last week that was evidential, please do share this week. So as we work with the flow of change, as it moves its energy into this week, what is the I Ching asking us more than anything as a collective to pay attention to? So our first hexagram for this week is Hexagram 31, influence. This hexagram is known as the courtship, the dating hexagram. There's a couple of hexagrams that often talk about the marriage, long-term partnership. This is the buzz at the beginning. So yes, it may bring your attention and dial your radio into a particular relationship that might be new, a sexual energy, whatever. Your life will give you that information. But it may also tie into this idea of what is moving us. Because when we feel influence, when we feel an impulsion, hopefully not a negative impulsion, but when we feel compelled, I've got to do this thing, we have this energy of this hexagram that is making us feel this deep resonance with something. And with this resonance, it's almost like, because it's the startup energy of that connection, it puts us a buzz. It brings to our awareness the radio station we're dialing into this week is, where are we feeling that feeling of, oh, this was meant for me, all right? Or, oh, this brings me so much energy. Or, wow, I've got to do this thing. Maybe it's a course that's just popped into your feed, and you think, oh, I don't know why, but I just have to do this thing. So those types of feelings are things we are dialed into. Now, we understand with these hexagrams, there's a higher and there's a lower, When we are working with a lower vibration of this hexagram, we feel compelled to do things and we don't engage our critical faculties, My intuition tells me I must do this, and therefore it is right. Has your intuition been tested? How do you know? My gut feel tells me this is the one for me. Is that hormones or is there something else? So it's just about understanding that when we live in a state of following our impulse and compulsions, right? There's a chance that we're operating with a little limbic, primitive brain, and we're not necessarily engaging higher critical thinking. But this energy is also wonderful. What is the higher vibration? The higher vibration is that we understand our purpose, what we're here to do. We understand what motivates us to create good around us. And when we feel that, we develop an understanding of when you feel that feeling of, I've got to do this thing, that it's coming from the right place, that you work through the process in the right way, that you follow your intuition, that you follow what drives you forward. Yet you also temper it with the wisdom to know, when is this just my kind of lower self driving me to have a sensory experience or to have all my nerve endings tingled, okay? Or is this something that I can really put my soul into and I work with it going forward? So this week, we're going to be focusing on that. We're going to be just watching, where do I feel that energy? What does it mean? Because there are 3 changing lines this week, and they bring us different facets of influence. Okay, so on this hexagram, the changing lines represent parts of the body, from the feet as the bottom line, right to the top of the head on the top line. Okay, so where that influence is driving us, depending on the changing line that comes up, will tell us a variety of things. So we have changing lines in the 1st, 2nd, and 4th position. Changing line in the 1st, feet, right at the bottom, the toes. Okay, here we develop some twinkle toes, okay, because what happens is we start to feel the impulse and the influence, the thing that's calling to us, start to wiggle in the toes, okay. And this is about something that's a beginning influence. It's just starting to make itself known. And we can't yet understand or appreciate where it might go to, what it means, but we can just feel the bubble, all right, okay, the twinkling of the toes. Toes are usually in shoes, out of sight, okay? They're far away from our center midline. So when we have this kind of feeling in the toes, we can't see where it's going to go because it's right at the beginning. And also it's kind of out of view. It's not yet visible to everybody else. So with this changing line, the strategy here, when we feel the twinkling in the toes, we just say, I get you, twinkle toes. This is something interesting. Something is making me pay attention. I feel magnetic towards this thing. I feel drawn to it and understand it. But I'm not going to try and head trip it. I'm not going to try and jump into it. I'm just going to let it bubble up in its own time. And that's what we do with changing line 1. In the 2nd position, now the influence is felt in the calves. Okay, we've gone up from the feet into the calves. And in our legs, the calves are dependent. Okay, they don't move of their own. They are connected to feet on the one hand and knees and thighs on the other. Okay, so the idea of this changing line is that the calves are dependent. But when we try and make decisions and move forward, okay, and race towards the influence with the calves in charge, it's a disaster. Okay, so it's realizing that we are not yet in a place of being drawn or taking action to follow an influence on our own 2 feet. Would that be a wise analogy? So what we have to do is we realize that we are following something, and it's about just holding back and not pushing forward, not racing forward, not chasing the influence. You know, it's grown in energy from the toes, but we just have to pay attention to not trying to take the lead. The calves should not be in charge because they will run us into places where the rest of the body has to pay the price for the choices made by those calves. Okay, so as we move into the 4th position, we now move into the heart. Okay, we know that we've often made decisions from the heart that have got us into lots of trouble. But with this changing line, it talks about the heart and the emotions of the heart. Okay, we're talking about the lower emotions of the higher emotions. And here in the heart does this, and our emotions go flick, flack, flick, back, hither and dither, okay, all over the place. And the stability we need to be influenced through the heart is what we need to work on. So with this changing line, it almost gives us a bit of a choice. That if we choose to be in that emotional state, all right, and to be lost in that emotional state, running this way and that, we lose the opportunity for the influence to really make a difference. If we stabilize and calm the heart, okay, and we come from the heart, power, okay, power pumps through the heart. If we can get into a place of being calm and focused and in a centered heart space. Okay, open, but centered and quiet. So maybe we all need to do a bit of meditation this week. So working with these changing lines, 3 changing lines, they might relate to 3 separate issues. There might be 3 different influences in your business life, in your team, or in your personal life that are bringing you different facets to pay attention to. The toes, where are you starting to just feel a little tweak? Like, oh, what's that? Why do I feel that way? That's interesting. I feel magnetic to this thing. I feel attracted to this thing. And then the calves. Oh, I want that thing. Let me run. No, it's not your task to let you run. It's the task of the calves to follow. Just bide your time. Patient. And then in the 4th position, go to the higher heart, stabilize and calm the heart, and let your life be influenced from that place. Because there's power in this hexagram. There's energy. There's this surge of creative power and this energy of attraction, whatever that might mean, whether it's not a relationship for you at all. So lots for us to focus on this week. So where is that energy moving to as those 3 changing lines click into place one at a time? What is the outcome hexagram, the transforming hexagram, the victory, the path to victory that we can reach out towards this week? What is hexagram 5, waiting? We've had waiting recently, right? Okay. Patience. The rain is over there. It's coming. It's not yet here. Okay. If we are impatient, we cannot speed up the process of the rain coming. It's impossible. What we have to do is cultivate patience, be calm, get busy and preparing for what's to come. The path to victory says, develop a patience. What you want is coming. Just be cool. The timing is perfect. Okay, when you look back afterwards, you'll look back and say, oh my word, the timing was perfect. Because it is. And this week is a reminder, just hang in there. But do all the preparation work you can possibly do to be ready for when those rains come, that you are ready to capture every ounce of benefit. So an interesting week for us. We are going to be switched on by something this week, or we're going to be dialed into where we are feeling that attraction. What is that thing that's calling to us? You heard me talk about the ferret, eating away at the inside of your soul, right? A few weeks ago. Is that idea of what is drawing you? What do you feel a huge connection to? Where it just lights up your life. Okay, it brings energy. It brings inspiration to you. What is that? And how can this week tune us into where we can be wise and centered in the heart as we let that influence guide us, but from a higher place? Patience, patience, patience. Thank you so much. I look forward to this week. Let's see how it pans out. We could share with each other next week. If you like this episode, a thumbs up would be great if you're on YouTube. If you are new to the channel, it'd be great to have you join us on the regular. So hit the subscribe button, the bell, so you get notifications. And of course, if you love podcasts like I love podcasts and you'd like to follow on that platform, just hit the follow button there too. Thank you so much and look forward to seeing you soon.